everyone. Welcome to the Spice of Life, where you come for the food and you stay for the word. Let's get started. Today's recipe is green Thai chicken soup. I found it on Martha Stewart's website, and I was inspired to try this because many years ago I went out to a Thai restaurant with coworkers. The food was amazing. I'm not sure why I haven't gone back to a Thai restaurant since, because the food was really good. But I thought this would be a good time to give a Thai soup recipe a try. So we're going to give it a try today. The recipe includes green bell peppers or sweet bell peppers. I've already gotten started by sauteing my green bell peppers here, and it looks like so. Don't know if I'm holding that appropriately in the camera so that you can see it. Hopefully you can. So we've gotten started by sauteing this, and the recipe also includes chicken broth. I'm using a reduced sodium chicken broth. It includes shredded chicken. You can use a deli chicken or cook some chicken at home, and that'll work. Also, we have bok choy. This is a green that I have rarely cooked with. I think maybe I've cooked with it once before, some years ago. I'm used to cooking, collard greens and kale and spinach, not so much bok choy. So it's going to be nice to try something different today. And we even have green Thai curry paste. This is what the jar looks like that I'm using. I've never cooked with curry paste ever, so I'm looking forward to trying this. And we also have lime juice in my jelly jar and salt and pepper that we'll be seasoning it with. So now that the bell peppers are already sauteed, we're going to add the green Thai curry paste to the pot. And according to the recipe, we let this simmer or cook a little bit for about a minute or so. So let's just turn that up. And we're going to stir the green Thai curry paste into the green bell peppers for about a minute there, and then we'll add the rest of the ingredients. Just kind of wondering how everyone's Thanksgiving went last month. We had a really nice time with our family members. We went to visit my in-laws, and the food was delicious. My sister-in-law, one of them, cooks a bean pie that is simply amazing. Simply amazing. She could actually sell her pies, her bean pies. They're just that good. I tried making one a few years ago. Major failure. I have no problem admitting it. It just did not turn, it couldn't touch her bean pie. So I've decided that at least for the time being, I'll just stick to just enjoying her bean pies and making sweet potato pies, which I'm better at. So now we're smelling all the aroma of the bell peppers and the green Thai curry paste. And we're going to add to that our chicken broth. I'm just going to give it a little shake. Make sure that everything's all blended there. And the direction says to add the chicken broth to the pot. So we're going to add that like so. We're using the entire quart, or 32 ounces worth of the chicken broth. And then it says after we add the broth, we bring it to a simmer. And as soon as that heats up nicely, we'll be adding the chicken and the bok choy. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I sometimes have my own way of pronouncing words. I'm reminded that many years ago in the days of my youth, I used to call Spiegel Spiegel, and I had a coworker say to me, Linda, it's not Spiegel, it's Spiegel. So sometimes I do my own little thing with pronunciations, but bok choy, I think I'm saying that the right way. Give me a moment, I'm going to toss this. Okay, so let's just give everything a little stir. It has a nice aroma to it. And we're going to add to that our bok choy and our shredded chicken. And of course, the chicken, as I explained, is already cooked, so that doesn't have to cook, but we just need to let everything, let the bok choy cook enough so that it's nice and tender. So that won't take too long. That's a delicate green. We'll turn the heat up just a little bit. And give that a nice stir. And I'll place the top on it because, of course, once you put the lid on a pot, that keeps the heat inside, helps everything cook a little quicker. And it says that it only takes about a minute. I think we may need a little bit more than a minute. When you read times on a recipe, you have to always consider your equipment, your stove, your oven, how long your equipment takes to work. So this is a new stovetop little appliance that I'm using so that I can be able to prepare food in front of the camera as opposed to turning my back on you, going to the stove. So I think I might need more than a minute to get this going, but we'll see how that works. And in the meantime, let's just move everything else aside. Once this cooks to the point where the bok choy is nice and tender, we're going to take it off of the heat and then stir in our lime juice, our salt and pepper, and it'll be ready to eat. But first we'll get into the words. So let's just give this a moment and see how this goes. It smells good. I have to tell you, the curry paste, the green curry paste, is a different aroma than I'm used to smelling. It's fragrant, it smells good, but it's different than what I'm used to cooking with and used to eating. So it'll be interesting to see how this turns out. I'm hoping that it turns out as nicely or almost as nicely as the soup that I ate at the Thai restaurant many years ago. So we'll know shortly. Let's see. All right, it looks like it's wilting. But it looks to me also that it needs a little bit more time than just the few minutes that we've given it. So what we're going to do is let it cook just a couple more minutes until it's tender, and then we'll be back to add the lime juice, the salt, and the pepper. I'll see you in a moment. Okay guys, I'm back. We have our green Thai chicken soup. I've added the lime juice, the salt, and the pepper. We're going to let all those flavors marinate together. Then we'll give it a try. Let's move on to our lesson for today, which is entitled Obey God, Obedience is Key. And this lesson is coming from Numbers, the 20th chapter, where we're looking at a snapshot of the life of Moses and the Israelites. They're in the wilderness. They're thirsty. There's no water to drink, no visible water. So the children of Israel start complaining to Moses and saying, "Why did you bring us up out of Egypt to this evil place? It is not a place of grain or figs or vines or pomegranates, and there isn't any water to drink." So Moses and Aaron left their presence and then went before God to pray, to ask God what to do. And the Lord told them, or rather told Moses to get the rod and go to a certain rock and speak to the rock. And when he did that, then water was going to come out of it. But because of the people complaining and complaining to him, he allowed their complaints to burden him to the point where he got angry. And instead of speaking to the rock, he hit the rock. Well, he hit the rock, water came out, they were able to drink, their thirst was quenched. But the consequence of him hitting the rock, instead of speaking to the rock, which is what God told him to do, was that he was not allowed to enter the land of Canaan. And to me, like whenever I read that in the Bible, it's such a weight of sadness that I feel, because their whole goal in leaving Egypt and the bondage and the slavery and all of the trials and tribulations of Egypt was to get to Canaan, to the promised land of Canaan, the land of milk and honey, where they were going to subdue their enemies and enjoy the blessings of God in this beautiful place that he had promised them. But because he disobeyed the instructions of the Lord and did not speak to the rock, but rather hid it, he was not permitted. Moses was not permitted to enter Canaan. God did allow him to go up onto a high mountain and look over into the land, but he couldn't enter it. And we're going to talk about the dangers of complaining in another lesson, but for this lesson specifically, we're focusing on the importance of why we have to obey God. Because there are blessings and then there are curses or consequences to our obedience or disobedience, rather. So we bless, when we obey God, there are blessings. When we disobey God, there are consequences for that disobedience. And for Moses, it meant he could not enter the land of Canaan. Neither could most of the people, those that were over the age of 20, could not enter, but we'll talk about that in another lesson. There were a couple of people over that age that were able to enter, but that's another lesson for another time. So, what we want to remember is that every lesson in the Bible has a modern day application. For us, this is a sobering reminder of two things. One is the danger of complaining, which we'll talk about in another lesson, and for Moses, the danger of disobedience. Can you imagine if God wanted to bless you with a home, a car, a job promotion, or something else that was just dear to your heart, and that he promised it to you, but that promise was contingent upon our being obedient to what he told us to say or do? That's why this lesson is so relevant, because Moses' experience in not being able to enter Canaan is an ancient lesson that we can apply to our modern day lives of why we have to be obedient. It is essential to be obedient. Obedience is the key. It would be so sad, so disappointing, so distressing to miss out on a blessing from God, something that he promised to us simply because we did not obey something that he told us to do. And so that is the gem of a lesson that we want to extract from Moses' experience in Numbers, the 20th chapter, that we want to be careful to not disobey God. We want to make sure that we obey everything he tells us to do, and to be careful and cautious to not let other people's issues, to let other people's complaining cause us to get frustrated to the point where we deviate from what God would have us to do. That is a major, major lesson. Okay, everyone, now it's time to sample our green Thai chicken soup. Let's give it a little stir. Get a little bit of the vegetables and the meat and the broth. And let's say grace. Amen. Okay, let's see here. That's good soup. As you see, we have the bok choy. I cut the greenery of it and some of the stems. I'm having some issues here pulling it onto my spoon. The flavor's delicious. I must add that the curry, which I have been calling green Thai curry paste, is really just green curry paste. But it is curry, which means it has some kick to it. And with the pepper, it has a real zesty flavor. So if you like food with a little pepper kick to it, you're going to enjoy this. Of course, you can always use less than a full tablespoon of curry paste, which the recipe recommends, but you can always use less. But I recommend it. It's delicious. Really nice flavor. If you've enjoyed this content, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, click like, and share the video with others. I look forward to seeing you again. God bless you. Have a great day.